Gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back with us for another episode of this here podcast. Now, Crystal and I both have some juicy stories to get into today, but before we do, y'all know how I got to start the show. Crystal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I've actually had a pretty decent week. Um, my lead AC is going to be taking a small hiatus at some point, and that means that they're going to bump me up to kind of doing what she's doing. So
I
I'll
know
be doing
that's
that for
right.
like 4 or 5 days.
Hmm.
I'm so nervous.
But excited.
I'm excited, but I'm
Uh,
still nervous. Like they gave me
yeah.
a rundown of kind of like what our day should be. So it's nothing that I feel like should be an issue. But at the same time, I'm like, knowing my luck, that's when everything will break down. One thing about the my lead is that she is very savvy, like very tech savvy. Anything that happens, it's like she's been in this business so long. So anything that happens, like she's dealt with it before. So she
Mm,
immediately kind of knows what to do, or she just knows the equipment well enough that she's like, well, it would make sense if this is what's wrong. It will make sense if we do this to kind of counteract it,
right.
or something like that. Like all the time, every time that something happens and she comes up with something, I'm like, she's like, oh my God, you're so smart. You're so good at that. So I'm like, I'm just like praying nothing breaks down or something like that. I was
Mm.
joking with her. I'm like, I'm going to be like FaceTiming you, be like, okay, look at, you see this that's going on? What do I do?
But it's good to have somebody like that around that you can watch and learn from. You get the
hmm
tutorial live
I
in real
know.
time.
That's the one thing about film and television production is that there's always an end date. It's essentially contract work. It's just in shorter terms. And it sucks because it's like I feel like I've learned so much from her in these last couple months that I wish I could just like follow her to
Mm,
different to at least another show, another longer term show and continue learning from her because I feel like um I just she's such a good teacher. She always says, "No, I'm not. I'm not a good teacher." But she is. The patience, the way she explains things, the way she allows me to do things even when I don't feel like I can do them. Like she literally will kind of have me do things even when I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. She'll be like, "No, you can do this." And she'll just stand there and watch me and she'll kind of guide me and but she'll let me do it, which is how I
mhm.
learn the best.
Right.
So I'm gonna be really sad when when the show is over. We only have like another month, maybe less than that. But yeah, it's been a good week. I am looking forward to having an upgrade for at least 4 or 5 days. But yeah, it's been good. The show's coming
That's
into an
really
end
good to
soon, though.
hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad you get the opportunity to spread your wings. I think it's really amazing that you have somebody that is really like taking you under their wing like that
hmm
and really letting you put hands on stuff because in a lot of situations and stuff people will sit there and let you fail like
Well, and it's not just that. So when it comes to like union shows, a lot of times when you're a PA in a union show, especially, you're not allowed to touch anything.
yeah.
Like I've kind of PA'd, I've like dipped my toes in the camera department here or there and on union shows especially, but it was only for like a couple of weeks at a time. So during that time, I really didn't learn a whole lot just because I wasn't allowed to really touch anything. So it's mostly pointing to things and them naming them or saying what they're about. And I'm just like, unless I'm around that consistently for long periods of time, I'm not going to retain that information. I
Right.
might retain it for that period of time, but if I go off, which is what it usually happens, and I don't work in that department or around that equipment for long periods of time, then I'm going to forget about it. But yeah, it's like when I'm on a union show, I'm mostly just handling batteries or just making sure, everyone has water and stuff like that. This show, it's none of that. And I've been lucky not only to have her, but my whole department as a whole, they've all taken time at some points to show me or teach me things. And they've all been really, really patient, really well at
Yeah.
kind of taking me under their wing in those moments to show me what's going on. So it's been a great blessing to have worked with this group. And I'm definitely going to be sad when we're parting ways and going to do other things. But
Well, hopefully
yeah,
it's a, see you till next time
I
type of
know. I
situation.
mean,
You know.
two of our workers, they worked on a show together, my lead and one of the camera operators, but it's been like 10 years since they'd seen each other. And it's like, God,
Mm.
I really don't want to go 10 years to see you guys. Like I'm hoping that
Yeah.
it'll be sooner than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've enjoyed my time for the most part out there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that's good. I've been meaning to ask you, how
Hmm.
are you enjoying it down there? You know, living situation and everything. We haven't, you
I
know,
know that first week, that first
yeah,
day down there was just so hectic. Moving
right.
from one place into another place because of that whole situation. But my newer place that I moved into after what happened that first week has been great. I mean, it's been, you know, the only thing I really had to get accustomed to is that my little kitchenette is essentially right under the fire alarm. So anytime if
Mm,
I make toast, I kept tripping that fire alarm. It was driving
th-
me insane. I felt so bad.
okay.
And so I had to work out the kinks of that, which was essentially either me taking the toaster across the room and toasting it like there, or just taking that damn fire alarm off and
Cause
putting it in
girl,
the bathroom.
it would
Cause
it would have been out the window dealing with me.
right.
Go out and get some fresh air while I
I
make my
know,
food.
honestly. And I did that when I did an onion boil there for the first time. Like last week, I did it in the air fryer. And I was just
Oh.
so paranoid with the air fryer because I don't really cook with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, cooking with the air fryer for most of the stuff, I've never had a problem, but I had cooked something in the air fryer. And this time it was a long period. It was like almost 30-40 minutes of me cooking something and it set off the alarm. So,
Mm.
I knew with the onion boil, it was going to be at least 45 minutes to an hour. So, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take this. I put it in the bathroom and I walked away.
But it's really sensitive. Like, or is the
It's
stove
just
just
because
smoky? Or
it's not even a stove because it's a kitchenette and it's the
mm-hmm.
kitchenette is built in what used to be the closet. So and it's just
Mm.
right underneath the
Okay.
fire alarm. So I
Okay.
think I think it's a combination of it also being sensitive and just the fact that I'm literally underneath it.
Okay.
So I don't
Mm.
even see smoke and that thing goes off and I'm like, okay, you're
Can
going
I
in the
just, while we're
going to the
here,
bathroom.
and you brought up the onion boil,
Mm,
you shared that with me
I did.
recently, and I haven't made it yet. I haven't made it
Hmm.
yet because, first of all, them some big ass onions, and I don't know where I'm gonna get an onion that big. 'Cause I feel like, in America, y'all have like them steroids,
Yeah.
vegetables and shit. I don't have that up here. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this on like a smaller scale and figure out, what the scale of the onion size to the time
Yeah.
it needs or whatever, whatever. My mouth is watering right now. Just Crystal, it looks so good.
It
Oh
was. It was
my
really
God. I'm
good.
gonna make it.
I
I'm gonna make it.
highly we the first time we made it with steak, which was good. But me personally, I actually highly recommending doing it with like rice or something like that because
Yeah.
then you get to have the extra
Juices and
juices
stuff.
onto the
Hmm.
rice, and I just think it really because here's the thing about the onion boil.
Ooh.
No matter for me personally, no matter how long you really cook all of those spices together with the onion, I feel like mostly the outer layer is what gets all of the flavoring. Like that
Yeah.
inner layer doesn't really retain all of that, which is why I feel like having something like a rice that soaks up the rest of those juices really helps to keep all the flavor together.
See, the only
Yeah.
thing that I was going to modify about the recipe was I was gonna make a compound butter kind of situation
Hmm.
with all the spices and stuff in it
Hmm.
before I put it down in the onion. Cause like you said, I felt like I was like, well, the inside of the onion just gonna taste like butter. And I
Right.
don't know if I'm fucking with that. So I think I'm gonna mix it all up first and then stuff all that butter seasoning combo down in there and
I
then let it
did
do it like that.
I put a chicken bouillon in the middle and then the butter.
Mm.
I did that. But I
Mm.
did see someone recently do kind of what you did. They made like a compound. They like seasoned up the hard butter and put it in
Yeah.
there, and then they melted the butter and did the seasonings and then put it all around there
I'm
too.
so excited. I'm so excited.
You
I've
don't
been
have
having
to
my
have a
little
really
chicken
big
and
onion.
rice.
There's some
Mm.
people who have the smaller onion and they'll just make
Okay.
they'll just make multiples.
Okay.
And I feel like after you make it the first time, you don't really need to have a recipe. You just kind of do what you feel is right. You
Right.
know, it's you core out the middle a little bit. Don't do it all the way through, so your stuff can actually sit in the onion and it doesn't go on the pan. But you just kind of core out. You put the butter with your seasoning in it, and then you melt some butter and put your seasoning in, and then pour it on there, and then you do it at. I've heard various temperatures. Some people do it at like 350 or something like that for like an hour. Some people will do it all the way for 400 for like 30 to 45 minutes.
See, I like a low and slow type of situation. I like
Exactly.
all my stuff to
So,
marinate together and
mhm.
just soft.
And the thing you can't
I'm getting so
really
excited.
worry, you can't really about worry overdoing it too much because if anything, your onion's just going to get softer. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you can't really worry about, you don't really have to worry about like, oh, I put it in too long. For the most part, it's just going to be softer. So go for it.
Sensational. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna let you know here whenever I get time.
Okay.
For real. Whenever the spirit hits me to do it,
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it turns out.
Okay.
All right. Well, you ready to get into these stories, girl?
I am. I'm ready.
All right. Oh, before we start, I'm sorry. One more thing. Just to highlight us having these type of conversations, I don't think you saw the comment on YouTube, but somebody else on a couple episodes back now was agreeing with someone who had left a comment about being glad to hear our stories and updates and stuff. And she specifically mentioned being so excited, like it was her good girlfriend to hear your on set updates. And I've gotten personal messages from my friends and stuff that have said, like, I love when she shared, like, I feel like I'm on the set with her. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So I wanted to give you that because otherwise I was going to forget and never tell you.
I was about to say, I
So I want to
appreciate
give
it.
you
And I'm
that
going to have
now.
to look for that comment and reply to it. Because, girl, yes, your girlfriend, I'm telling you about it. I'm
Hmm.
going to be excited when I can share more about this set experience. I really
Yeah.
feel like after these 3 or 4 months that I can write a tell all or something like that. But
Listen, because y'all, I've gotten a few of the stories offline.
yeah,
And I can't wait for y'all to hear them.
yes.
Well, they probably won't hear everything I heard.
Right, right. I still got to keep some discretion. But
I
yes,
was
I
about
will
to say,
say
yeah.
I've learned a lot about reality television from working on this show that I feel like should be common sense in some ways, but in a lot
Yeah.
of ways it was still kind of crazy to learn about.
To witness. Yeah.
Yes, to
Yeah.
witness. That's a
Hmm.
good yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it there before I come back to
Yeah.
work the next day and they're like, "You're fired."
Right. Right. Well, by the time, girl,
True, true.
you know what I'm saying?
Instead, it's gonna be like, "We're suing you for defamation." Like what you said
Right.
was true, but like,
But
bitch.
they don't know it's true. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let's get into these stories. Our first story today comes from my favorite subreddit. Say it with me, r/relationship advice. Yes. And it is entitled My 33-year-old female husband, 36-year-old male, may have cheated on me with my dead best friend and had an affair, baby.
Oh no. May?
Girl,
Oh, that's terrible not
I
to
literally
know.
gasped. When I read this first time, gasped. And I'll give y'all a heads up. There is an update to this story, which is a full length story. So be sure that you stick around until after the middle section to hear the update, okay? So she says, throw away for safety. I don't even know where to start. The past 6 months have been an absolute clusterfuck, and it only seems to be getting worse. My best friend since elementary school, who we'll call Alice, passed away in February from cancer. She had a 2-year-old daughter who went into the custody of her mom after she passed, who we will call Alexis. Last month, Alexis showed up at our doorstep unannounced, telling my husband that he needs to take responsibility for his child and either take custody or start finally paying child support. She says that Alice told her when her daughter was born who the father was, but she didn't want anything to do with him. To answer the inevitable, Alice was a traveling nurse and made a lot of money, which is the only reason I can think of for why she didn't go for child support. During this conversation, my husband had the worst panic attack he's ever had, so we had to end the conversation before I could get more details. My husband's story is I don't even know. He said that Alice's daughter is probably his, but that it isn't what I think. Almost 3 years ago, we threw a large housewarming party that as we just moved into our dream home after I finally finished residency and was set to make real money for once. Alice was in town and said to be at the party, but I was called into work before she got there. I didn't get back until 3 o'clock in the morning. The party was winding down and my husband had passed out upstairs, and Alice had already left the party, which at the time I did find strange as we hadn't seen each other in months. My husband claims he woke up in the middle of the night to Alice on top of him, but he passed out again before he could say anything. He claims that he never told me because he was worried that I wouldn't believe him, which I don't know if I do. He showed me some texts that he sent his best friend the next day asking for advice about him thinking that someone raped him and that if he cheated, he would have but if he cheated, he could have had that conversation as evidence, especially since he never said Alice specifically. Ever since the party, he has been very distant from Alice. And after she had her daughter, he would even make excuses while she was at the house or anytime that she would visit at all. I don't know if it's because he cheated or if Alice actually did rape him and he's having some kind of trauma response. Honestly, I don't know what to do. I've known Alice since we were children, and she has never come across as that kind of person. But I've also known my husband for over a decade, and he has not once given the inclination of a cheater. He's an attractive guy, and I've seen the looks that he gets at the gym, but he's never even given them a passing glance. What the hell should I do? How do I figure out what the truth is when Alice isn't even around to defend herself? She never even implied that she liked my husband, let alone wanted to sleep with him. I told my husband he needs to get a DNA test before anything is decided on the child's part, but in the meantime, he needs to move out while I think about what I'm going to do here. Crystal.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
what a mess.
Hot
Um,
ass mess.
yeah, that's a really hard one to comprehend, I guess. Um, and I don't really know how I would react because on the one hand, you never really know anybody, no matter how long you know them. Their people are, so multi-layered that we're able to hide secrets about things from our closest loved ones, for long periods of time, sometimes forever, um it's I mean, uh, if this was a woman, we're always taught that we need to believe the victim when they say this stuff. Um, and it's like, I mean, do you think your husband is, I don't even know if diabolical is enough of is the right word, but that's all I'm thinking of right now. But do you think he's diabolical enough to cheat on you and then the next day try to set up an alibi in case one day you might figure it out? I mean, at this
Say
point,
that.
it's not like there was a child, at that point. So if he's texting his friend the next day, I mean, does that sound like he would have the forethought to plan that far ahead just in case? Um and you're right, your friend isn't here to defend herself. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't I
It's
don't know
it's
how to
girl,
I don't
it's
know how to,
tough.
yeah, it is tough. I don't think you're wrong for needing space, That's not a wrong option. But the fact that your husband had such a panic attack over the reminder too might leave some credibility. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, you never know people. And even though your friend never showed or gave a hint, I mean, why kind of would she? That's your husband, you know? So if she saw an opportunity and decided to go for it and did what she did, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah,
So I guess I unfortunately I don't think this is something you're ever truly going to know the truth to.
hmm
You know, I don't see your, you know, if this wasn't the case, if this wasn't the truth, I don't see your husband admitting, oh, I lied, like you know, we did have consensual sex, you know.
yeah,
So it's really going to come down to if you believe him or not, you know.
yeah,
It's obviously, I definitely recommend some therapy for both of you guys, especially if he went through this. I mean, because that's a traumatic experience, you know, for anyone. And it unfortunately, it is true. A lot of men, they won't report these things because they believe they're not going to be believed. Uh, You know, that's not on out of the realm of possibility either. I mean, how often do you think men are going to think, oh, I was raped by my wife's best friend last night, but I passed out during pretty much the whole thing. So is she going to believe me about that, about her best friend, her childhood best friend? Um, yeah, I mean, this wasn't a continuous affair either. I guess kudos for that. I don't know. Like, you
but
know,
see, that's the
it's,
other side of the coin, right?
mm-hmm,
Because it's like I see, because I'll give some context, right? So the people in this response, Loki came at her neck
mm-hmm.
and were calling her, you know, somewhat of an asshole because she asked him to leave the house,
Okay.
and they were coming from the standpoint of, you know, it was kind of like victim blaming. You
Yeah.
know, if he is the victim, which they would assume that he is, you know, you're doing the worst thing you can to him
Mm-hmm.
by, you know, essentially putting the blame on him by kicking him out the
Kick
house.
him out. Right.
And she did give, you know, a bit of an edit that said, you know, she asked him to come back after reading the responses and stuff, which I think was kind of wild because, girl, you're also entitled to your reaction to this. So if
Yeah.
you needed time, you know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you could have left him out of the house and you skedaddled,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and found you somewhere to a hotel or situation. But I don't find any problem with that separation because, again, we can only ever have one side of the story. And while, yes, I do say believe him, believe
Mm-hmm.
him, believe him, believe him, but there are questions.
Mm-hmm.
This circumstance is very, it's a weird circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How, I would have so many questions. Like,
Yeah.
why did you? And this is not, I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
not. I'm not, y'all, please don't take this the wrong way because I know it can go left real fast, but it's
Yeah.
just the questions that would come into my mind. Why was you that drunk
Mm-hmm.
at our housewarming?
Right.
You know, I mean, I get having a good time, but why you get drunk to the point where you went upstairs and passed out and left all the guests downstairs? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been my biggest concern.
Mm-hmm.
You left all the people in my house, at my
Yeah.
brand new house,
Right.
and went upstairs and passed out drunk. Like, what? That's wild. Maybe we need to go talk to somebody. Like, why are you getting blackout drunk like this with guests in the house? You know, and nobody else to really see them off or, you know, anything like that. That would have been my number one thought. But also, you know, was there anything beforehand? Has she ever come on to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, those questions will come up in my head because if it's been all of this time and you've never said anything to me, I got this little, potentially your baby, in my house with my best friend that's a product of y'all either affair or her, you know, raping you or whatever. I don't know if I could look at that lie and that deception and rule out that maybe you were lying to me about the fact that something happened before this.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
whether it was flirting, whether it was whatever. Like, I really need to know the full context of the situation, or if this just came, if you was just passed out drunk and this shit came out of nowhere. But it almost feels like it's always going to be an asterisk
Mm.
there, because I can literally only get one side of the story
Yeah, unfortunately,
forever and always.
that's true. Which is why I'm saying, like, unfortunately, this is something you're going to have to know. You're never really going to get the full story, because that's true. Like, you've been with him for over a decade, you've stated, and she's been your best friend since you were children. So in all that time that you were dating him, being engaged to him, getting married to him, did he never notice any inappropriate behavior from her, any flirting, any, innuendo, something? She never came on to him. Like, this just came out of blue. That would be strange. But again, like I said, people are so multi-layered. Some
Yeah,
people, knowing this is your best friend's husband, maybe she was hiding it that whole
yeah,
time. And I don't know, something about that night just snapped for her. She saw an
yeah.
opportunity and took it, which, jail, girl. But I mean, you're also dead. So
I was about oh no.
I don't want to make light of that
Oh.
situation. But it's like,
Well.
for her, not only is she dealing with her best friend dying from cancer, which, is never truly a quick death. So she had been dealing with this for a while now, but then to come find out there's now a potential affair slash assault on her husband from this person. So I'm mourning this person who I've known my whole life, but now I potentially have to hate her as well. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, honestly, I think I would do therapy, and I would try to find a way to move forward with my husband in this scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think I could just 100% say, "Oh, he's lying. They cheated." Um,
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I'm going to be upset with my friend. Either she assaulted my husband or she had an affair with him.
Yeah.
So I'm mad at her. I'm
Either way.
mad. Either way.
Mhm.
But with him, he's still here, and I can't know for sure one way or the other. So I think I'm going to go to therapy for us, and I'm going to try to find a way for both of us to move forward together. As
Yeah.
for the child, I'm take a DNA test, find out if it's his child. Because if it's not, then I mean that's not something you really have to worry about. But if it
Yeah.
is, again, either the child stays with the mother and he just pays child support and he doesn't see the child, or you guys figure out a way to be parents to this child.
And lucky for you in the audience, Crystal, I have the answer to all of that.
That's right. You said this
After
was an update.
the middle section, girl,
Okay,
we're
you're
gonna
right.
we're gonna find all of this out.
Good, because I need to know now. I'm like, I don't know how to respond
I
to
told
this.
you. I told you.
You're right.
You was gonna need that other
And I
half.
already
So
forgot.
yeah. So y'all stick around for that. We got all the answers coming up. Okay, Crystal, what you got?
Okay. Well, I too have a story that has an update, and you will hear that update after his update. So this episode really is just two stories. You're
Yeah.
just getting the updates to them.
Mhm.
So this is from Emma the Asshole Forum, and it says, Emma the Asshole refusing to let my sister, female 27, announce her pregnancy at my wedding after what she did.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Now, I will say she did break this down like so nicely. So we're just going to go. So she says, context. I, female 30, got married last weekend and it was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but drama unfolded and now my family is split in half. I need to know if I'm the a-hole or if my reaction was justified. Backstory. My younger sister, female 27, let's call her Lucy, has always been the golden child of the family. She's smart, beautiful, and has always been the center of attention, whether it's her birthday, graduations, or other significant life events. I've always felt like I was living in her shadow, but I've never said anything because, well, she's my sister and I love her. Lucy got pregnant a couple of months ago, and while I'm genuinely happy for her, I was also relieved that my wedding day could finally be about me for once. No one overshadowing me, no unexpected news, just me, my partner, and our big day. The incident. A week before the wedding, Lucy called me, and during what I thought was a casual sisterly chat, she drops this bombshell. Wouldn't it be amazing if I announced my pregnancy during your reception? It would be such a surprise. She went on to explain that all of our family would be there, and she thought it would be such a special moment for everyone. I was stunned. I told her politely but firmly that I didn't think it was a good idea. I had spent months planning this day, and I wanted it to be about my husband and me, not a pregnancy announcement. Lucy said I was overreacting and being selfish. She said it wasn't a big deal and that everyone would be so happy. I reiterated my stance: no announcement at my wedding. I thought that was the end of it. The day of the wedding. Fast forward to the reception, everything was going beautifully. I was having the time of my life until I noticed Lucy looking a bit smug. That's when she tapped her glass for attention. My stomach dropped. In front of all of our guests, she stood up and announced her pregnancy anyway. The room erupted in cheers and congratulations. I was frozen in shock. It felt like a dream. People immediately swarmed her with hugs and questions, and suddenly, my wedding was no longer about me. It was about Lucy and her baby. I was furious. My husband could see it, my bridesmaids could see it, and honestly, anyone paying attention could see I was upset. But I didn't want to cause a scene, so I left the reception early, crying in the bridal suite. My husband tried to console me, but I was heartbroken. Aftermath. Now, here's where things got worse. The next day, Lucy texted me saying I was being a drama queen and that everyone was happy for her. My parents are taking her side, saying I should have just let her have her moment and that I'm being immature for being upset. But a few of my cousins and friends have reached out to tell me that they thought what Lucy did was selfish and wrong. The family is now divided, some saying I'm overreacting, while others saying Lucy was out of line. So, am I the asshole for getting upset that my sister hijacked my wedding to announce her pregnancy?
Oh my God. This, wow, wow, wow. Because as you were reading, right, at the very beginning, I was like, well, it wouldn't be so bad if you told me beforehand. That way we can plan around it. You give me the option. If I say no, then that's just it. So I was like, where are we going with the story? But when you mentioned the fact that she was like, I get that you don't want me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's nuts. And honestly, if my parents couldn't see that, I don't need to talk to none of y'all for a while. Like, we don't need to be doing whatever this is. Because obviously y'all like her better than me or whatever that is. This is the little sister.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all prefer her to me for some reason. And I'm going to just let y'all have each other for a while. I'm not saying it's going to be that way forever. But y'all really gonna have to set in time out, as far as I'm concerned, for a hot minute. Because what you mean? Because me personally, because that was the first thing I thought in my head. Like, if you do it at the reception, after the first dance and all that stuff, after we eat dinner, whatever, and we about to party anyway, shit, girl, ain't nobody paying me no attention no more. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and announce your little shit and let's have a party, whatever. I don't care. But the fact that your sister disrespected your boundaries like that and just said, girl, fuck you and this wedding, bitch. I'm pregnant and I'm finna tell all these. And I get why she would want to do it. I get why she would want to do it. Because maybe this is the only time, especially since it's her first child, it's the only time that everybody going to be in a room at one time. But girl, like your sister said, she said no. Like, that's correct. I mean, even if you went around telling individual people and let the word spread, that's a whole different thing. Because I mean, you didn't make an announcement. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to tell people. You know what I'm saying? That would have been your way of skirting the issue. But the fact that you brute force yourself into having that announcement on your sister's wedding day is motherfucking nuts. And honestly, if your sister would have took that champagne bottle off that thing and bust you across the back of your head, bitch, pregnant at all, I wouldn't have blamed her. I would have petitioned on her behalf in a court of law. Okay. I would have been a character witness. Okay.
I think I would have played the long game. I would have been like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And when you had your big baby shower, because I know you are. I know you're going to have a big baby shower. And all of our friends and family are there.
Ooh.
I'm going to announce that I'm pregnant. I don't know if I'm pregnant. I probably won't be, but I'm going to tell everybody I am. And then if I'm not pregnant, I'll be like, oh, it was a false alarm. we went to the checkout and it turned out I just had gas. But
I was just backed up a little bit.
I was just backed up a little bit.
Yeah.
I just thought,
I was like, there has to be something.
It has to be
there,
something. And since we were all together, I just wanted to share the good news. I'm pregnant.
Wouldn't that
because I just assumed that's what we do at family events. We announce each other's big surprises.
Yeah.
That's me personally. I think you were a little. I think you should have played the long game. And
you know what would be even worse than that? Mm-hmm. If her mom, the husband, was all in the delivery room, and as soon as the baby crowned, it was starting people. She was like, guys. I'm expecting.
I will also be in this situation in 9 months. Yay!
That would be so bad. That is funny.
No. Yeah. I'm gonna say not the asshole. Like, I don't know how this story ends. I forgot what the update is. But I'm definitely
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm excited to see it with y'all because I don't remember.
It's so crazy. Like, what should be? Anyway, Krista, you ready to move on with the show?
Yes.
All right, y'all. We will be right back after these commercial messages. Ladies and gentlemen, T here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Listen, we need you to do us a solid. We need you to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Share what you love about this here podcast and help spread the word about this hidden gem. If you have any stories that you'd like to share with us, or anything that you would like for us to share on the show, please do so by sending it to our email, which is in the description for you below, or in any of our DMs on our various social media platforms. Now, let's get back to the show. And we are back. Crystal, I've got something for you.
Okay.
Would you like to know what it is?
I do.
We got a little knock at the door. Guess who it is? Florida man.
Ooh,
Florida man's back again, y'all. It's been, he's really been chilling.
Oh,
he's really been chilling. I don't know if he's been in his meth house, just locked in there, stirring up his concoctions, but he's back on the streets and he is wilding.
Okay.
Krista, would you like to know what he's been up to?
I would.
Girl. Okay. So this story is entitled, it's coming out of Florida, obviously, from Orlando to be specific. Orlando man stole nearly $1 million in Tiffany jewelry, swallowed it before arrest, police say. Girl, You just wait. The Orlando Police Department has arrested a man after he stole nearly $1 million in jewelry and swallowed it. According to police, they responded to reports of a robbery at Tiffany & Company at the mall at Millennia on February 26th. Police say the suspect, 32 male, pretended to be an Orlando Magic player representative to gain access to the store. Gilder was taken. Oh, I didn't read his name. I was trying to skip his name. Damn. Because I don't want to get a sued, girl. The man was taken into a private room to view the jewelry, during which he grabbed the jewelry and ran out of the room, injuring 2 employees in the process. He must have been a linebacker. Like, how you injure people running out the room? Like,
I guess.
Police say they were able to locate the man with the help of cameras in the mall parking lot. Police arrested the man, and they said that he confessed to swallowing the jewelry, which scans confirmed. The man was taken to a nearby hospital where police said they were able to recover 3 of the 4 Tiffany & Co. earrings on March 10th. They also recovered two additional diamond earrings that were unidentified. The fourth Tiffany and Co. earring was recovered on March 12th. Detect- Detectives were able to match them to earrings stolen from the mall through a serial number printed on the earrings. Police have charged the man with robbery with a mask and first degree grand theft. Police say he was also facing additional charges for 48 separate warrants in Colorado.
Mm.
This one tickled me because of the dates
I
on when they
yes.
recovered the stolen jewelry. Like,
I can comfortably say that for once, I'm glad my tax bracket doesn't allow me to shop at Tiffany's for the foreseeable future. Because I'm
girl,
gonna need you to release those serial numbers of those diamond earrings so we know what not to buy. Matter of fact,
I don't
just
want those
destroy them.
diamonds.
At
I don't
this,
want the casings. Like,
mm-mm, just destroy them. Call it a loss. I don't know. Collecting some insurance. I don't want to buy those. If y'all
I
see some
mean,
Tiffany diamonds that are severely discounted in the near future, don't buy it.
but I'm trying to figure out like they was in his system because this crime took place on the 26th of February and they did not get them back
Mm-hmm.
until the 10th of March. Like they was up in there, bitch, like, and the 12th. What?
Mm-mm.
That's crazy.
That's
Like
disgusting.
you
Like, sir, what
swap.
you were gonna wait a long time for those diamond earrings to come out of your system.
What do they call? Don't they have something called chocolate diamonds?
Yes, but those aren't the same. They're just brown diamonds.
I'm sorry. I'm immature. I'm immature. I can't handle nothing with farts, poop, nothing.
Mm-mm.
I will cry laughing. Okay. Well, Florida man isn't done. After
Of course he's not.
after he got out on bail, he decided to go to a karaoke bar. And this story comes from us again out of Orlando. He didn't even leave Orlando, bitch. He could have went somewhere else in Florida, but he didn't leave. It says Florida man points a gun at a man at a karaoke bar after getting upset about the music. Here we go. A Florida man was taken to jail for pulling a gun on a man at a karaoke bar after becoming upset about the music. He was arrested in the county jail on charges including felony aggravated assault. On March 15th, police, damn, this was right after. He had just passed them diamonds, bitch. Golly. On March 15th, the police responded to the Overtime Sports Bar on Sunset Road regarding an incident in which a man pulled a gun on another patron. Authorities identified the suspect as a 34-year-old man. According to police, the man became upset because the karaoke machine was malfunctioning. After leaving the bar still upset about the music, the man was confronted outside by a patron who tried to calm him down. That's when the man allegedly pulled a gun from his waistband, pointed it at the patron, and said, I don't fucking care. And then turned away, racked a round out of the gun, and walked off, the report stated. The victim went back into the bar and alerted the authorities, and the man was later booked into the local county jail and was released on bond 3 days later. They say that he is also facing an additional charge for being a felon in possession of a firearm. And he has a court date scheduled later next month. So, girl.
You know what? I hate karaoke. I
Oh,
don't
me
like it.
too.
I don't enjoy it in the least bit.
Not at
So
all.
I,
Not to
I am
view
not.
other people do it, not for
Nope.
me to do
Not.
it,
No.
nothing.
None of it. Like I hate going to unless they're like an actually amazing singer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't enjoy it. Like, don't have me sitting in the front seat because my facial expressions do not lie. So, if you're someone who, I get it, there are some people who know they're terrible and they go for it and they love it. Great for you. Still hate it for me, but great for you. But I know there are some people who think they're good and they go and people just they don't tell them that they're not good, and so
Girl,
they
you're flat and sharp at the same time. How
and
is
I'm
that
sitting there,
possible?
I will be in that audience, and if you look at me, I'll be like,
Crystal, can you imagine you and me out with a group of people? We would come away the only two people who are still friends.
we would be the most salty people there. They'd be like, these people hate life.
Girl, we've been in that situation
I
before.
just remember I can picture you when we went to that hibachi place and the kids were around and you had your sunglasses on. Um, I can picture
Oh my
you
God.
sitting like that in the audience and me being just right next to you, like,
Did I eat the hibachi with my sunglasses on the whole time?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember.
I think you did. I think you did. I just know
Y'all.
you were not feeling it.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I be telling y'all on this show how I get down. And I don't think y'all be believing me. But
Right.
Crystal has witnessed. If I'm not with it, I'm not with it.
Mm-mm.
Anywhere I am, I don't give a
Oh my
fuck.
gosh.
Like,
You guys should have heard one of our very first practice episodes. I want to say it was like the second episode we ever did. And I
mm,
tried to, this is the first time I brought some celebrity nuggets, and you did not like the people
oh,
I was talking about. And when I say was giving nothing, he was giving Hillary Duff nothing.
I had nothing to give. I was
And it drove me insane. I'm like, we gotta talk. We can't only talk about what we like. Like, if we're gonna bring celebrity
Mm,
stuff in, it's gonna be about people we don't fuck with, people we don't give a
yeah.
shit about. And you were just
But
like,
see, the thing with that, what Crystal was so mad at me, y'all. Crystal was so mad at me.
well, it's a practice
But
episode.
girl, it was a good thing we practiced for months. Okay, the product that y'all get now is months and months and months of work before we even started this podcast.
I'm like, you can at least
But
relate it to something in some
but
way to give an
I
opinion.
literally had no idea who them people was she was talking about. Like, you was talking in that specific instance, it was like reality TV people of shows that I've never seen in my life. So you was talking about
Right.
these things, and I had no context for it. So I was like,
I'm trying to give you the context, and you're just like, you pulled your hibachi pose and we're just like, I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know, and I don't care.
yeah.
I'm like, mother.
I'm really bad. I'm really bad with that. Like, y'all, if it's something that I don't care about, I used to get in trouble in high school a lot for that, actually.
Mm.
And in college too. But more so in high school. Because if it was something I did not care about, girl, I was not pretending. I was not putting on no show for nobody. It was very much like, what am I doing here?
I think I had a
let's
dream once afterwards. Like we were hosts, like we were hosting a show, like kind of like a Mark and Kelly type thing. And we had to
mm,
talk about something. And I'm just sitting here in front of the camera in the audience, like, and this is what's going on. And you are next to me, like giving nothing. And I'm like, Timmy, what do you think about this? And you're just like, bitch, I don't care.
it's so,
And the audience is
I've,
like,
I've tried
yes.
to get better. I have really
You have
you know
gotten
what?
so much better.
Thank
You have gotten
you.
so much better.
Oh my God.
Been nearly 2 years, but you've gotten so much better.
Actually, that was the catalyst for me really like taking the time to be like, you got to work on this. Like, you can't go through the rest of your life like this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I was just really good at avoiding situations
Mm-hmm.
where that would come out of me. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I liked to curate my environment to be like, I'm gonna be around stuff that that is, and because it don't have to all, it's not that it has to be about me or something I can relate to.
Mm.
But if it's just something, like, my wife gets mad at me a lot about that. Like, if it's something that I just don't give a shit about because it makes no difference to anything ever,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard for me to engage with it. And she has said so many times, she's been like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, I get that this ain't the, I'm like, girl, I'm sorry. Like, it's just the way I'm wired. I'm sorry. Anyway.
We gotta get to our updates.
Damn. Yeah, it was something else I had to tell you. Oh. Yes, I wanted to do it in this middle section. You mentioned the game show. I have been thinking actually for months, and I keep forgetting to mention it to you. I really want us to do a little game show situation
Mm-hmm.
potentially with this middle section. I'm putting it out with, I know this is a post show conversation, but I want to have it in front of the people so the people know so
You
they
get
can
a
hold
little
me
glimpse of
accountable.
what our post show looks like.
Exactly. Y'all let me know if y'all like this idea, if y'all would come on the show. Potentially, I'm just throwing it out there, just so I'm held accountable, so people will ask about it and remind me of potentially doing some type of little game show situation with a live guest. I'm just putting it out there. Or
I
even
would
people
love
that
that.
we know to come
Yeah.
on and play. I feel like we would be
Mm-hmm.
really good hosts for
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tack onto that, but we're gonna do that in the post show because I meant to
Yeah.
mention this last week when we talked during the post show and we didn't have a post show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll talk about
Okay.
those later.
Boom,
Okay.
boom, 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 boom. All
On to our
right.
updates.
Let's move on.
This is
You-
my update first. That's right. My bad. My bad. Because I'm ready for your update. I'm just like, all right. So,
girl. And I'm ready for yours. So
okay.
we was just gonna be staring at each other the rest of the episode.
Okay. So, like I said, she breaks this down so nicely. So, what happened after the wedding? So, after the wedding, I took a few days to cool down. I didn't want to respond to any of the family drama immediately because honestly, I needed some space to process everything. But Lucy and my parents kept pushing for a resolution, insisting that I should apologize for storming out of my own wedding and for making a big deal out of nothing. I held firm though. I told them how deeply hurt I was, how Lucy had completely disregarded my feelings and my boundaries. I tried to explain that it wasn't just about the announcement, it was about years of feeling like I always came second to her. Unsurprisingly, Lucy doubled down and kept calling me dramatic and self centered. My parents were still on her side, repeating how everyone was happy and that I should let it go. Family divided. Now here's where things got even messier. My cousins and some extended family caught wind of what was going on. Thanks, social media. And the family divided has gotten even wider. One of my cousins actually called Lucy out publicly, saying that what she did was attention seeking and disrespectful. That led to a full blown family argument in our group chat with people picking sides. The weirdest part, some family members who initially didn't say much are now telling me they've always seen Lucy as the golden child too, and they're glad someone finally spoke up. Of course, this didn't go over well with my parents. My mom told me I was tearing the family apart and that I needed to put an end to this nonsense, but I wasn't the one who made it public, and I can't control what other people say or think. The breaking point. What really shocked me, though, was how my dad reacted. He's usually the peacemaker, but he straight up told me that I ruined Lucy's big moment, her pregnancy announcement, and that I'm holding a grudge for no reason. That hurt more than I expected because I always thought he at least understood where I was coming from. On top of that, my parents invited Lucy and her husband over for dinner a few nights ago, but they didn't invite me. When I asked why, my mom said they didn't want any more drama. So now, not only am I dealing with the emotional fallout from the wedding, but I'm also feeling like I'm being pushed out of my own family. So where I'm at now. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and honestly, I don't think I can keep pretending everything's okay just for the sake of keeping peace. I love my family, but I can't keep sacrificing my feelings and self respect just to avoid conflict. My husband has been super supportive through all of this, and he's encouraged me to set clear boundaries with both my sister and my parents. So, as hard as it is, I've decided to go low contact with Lucy and my parents for now. I'm not cutting them out completely, but I need space to heal and to figure out how or if I want to move forward with them. Some of my cousins have reached out to say they support me, and that's been a huge comfort during all of this.
Wow. Wow. It went from worse to worse, sir. I just, I mean, at the end of the day, she's doing the best thing for her, which
Mm-hmm.
is going low contact. We gonna talk when we need to talk. Other than that, it's gonna be what it is. It's just insane to me that after all of this, your parents are essentially telling you all of this is your fault and you
Mm-hmm.
need to fix it for everybody. Like you're like
Mm-hmm.
they're just gonna let your sister skate free. Like
Yeah.
she provoked you and she gets no type of repercussions.
Mm-mm.
And y'all are excluding me from the
Yeah.
family get-togethers and stuff. Like when I tell you, every single time one of my parents bring that shit up to me, if I was her,
Mm-hmm.
even if we had we could have been on the phone for an hour and just had the most pleasant conversation. I love yous and all that. As soon as they brought that bitch up in that situation, I'm flipping a switch. And I'm instantly cussing y'all all types of dog, bitches, hoes. Like y'all are, I'm going slam the fuck off every time until y'all learn. Don't bring it up no more.
Mm-mm.
Don't bring it. If y'all want peace, don't bring it up no more. I might be willing, just because it's family, I might be willing to move forward with them. But don't talk to me about this shit ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Ever again. And y'all are not having the same access y'all had to me before this. It's finna be different for the rest of the time
Mm-hmm.
until one of us go to the upper room. Okay, it's finna be different, and there's gonna be boundaries. And I'm not even gonna tell y'all what those boundaries are. I'm gonna practice them on my end because the one thing I can control is access that I give y'all to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all have proven to me that y'all are gonna take what y'all want from me. So if I only give y'all a crumb, bitch, that's all y'all can take.
Yeah.
So I think she's doing the perfect thing by holding her boundaries strong and being like, listen, we finna keep it cute, keep up, but it's not finna be all that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as family dinners and stuff go, if you keep this up and your family still excludes you and you trying to keep the peace with them on some kind of level, then you may need to rethink this whole family. You may need to go find you a chosen family or really attach yourself to your in-laws or something
Mm-hmm.
to get that family dynamic, because I can't see myself constantly being bullied. You being bullied by the rest of your family, by your mom and daddy and your sister. And I was really wondering because I hadn't heard anything about the daddy up until she mentioned it in this update. So I was wondering, where he was, because most of the time the dad's just, girl, they kind of off in the wind. Like, they go whichever direction the crowd is going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see why they would hurt her so much when, he finally does come down with a verdict. It's against her. And he's, talk about victim blaming. God damn, this is crazy. It's infuriating me.
It
Like,
is.
wow.
I agree with what you said. I don't. I think she's doing everything that she can in this moment, and I hope she updates again. But unfortunately, in these dynamics, we've learned pretty much that these type of people don't ever see themselves as being anything but the victim. So if you're looking for an apology or something like that, I don't think you're ever going to get it from this side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So
Oh,
unless I don't know, unless the rest of the family, powers through on blaming them for their part in it and it gets to them, I really don't think you're getting any genuine apology. So
yeah.
do what you said, keep the low contact and just kind of start building. You just got married, you have a new husband, start building your own type of family, whether it's with his side of the family if they're close, or it's with your cousins if any of them close, or just with friends. Start making your own chosen family. Agreed.
Yeah. I
All
would
right, your
love to see
update.
the next update in the Petty Revenge subreddit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the update to my story. My husband may have cheated on me with my dead best friend and had an affair, baby. So she says, now for the update. As mentioned in the original post, I did take a leave of absence from work. Oh, I didn't read that part. That was a little later on. She took a little leave of absence. Sorry, y'all. I did take a leave of absence from work and spent a long time just being together with my husband, talking, reaffirming our love for one another, and figuring out what to do next. We, of course, spoke to a lawyer, and my husband was very adamant about not having anything to do with the child, but was willing to offer financial support as needed. So we agreed to do a DNA test immediately to prove paternity, and then go from there. Didn't know you could buy tests on Amazon. Red flag. But with only a few weeks of processing, it was the easiest path forward since Alexis lives hours away. To everyone's surprise, Alice's daughter is not my husband's. We ended up having two tests, both very, very definitive. The first test that we performed ourselves, as mentioned, and another after Alexis refused to believe the first test and took my husband to court for child support. For a single second, this whole thing made me second guess if my husband was raped, that this could have been her way of forcing my husband to admit to an affair. But after talking with Alexis, I don't think that was the plan. Alexis said that Alice told her my husband was the father under strict confidence, demanding that she never ever tell me or my husband. We were only ever told she was only ever told to tell if Alexis died before Alice's daughter was old enough to take care of herself so that she wouldn't end up in foster care. The only reason Alexis came to us then instead of keeping the secret is because Alice's life insurance policy wasn't released yet and she was out of options. She also felt that I should know my husband and her daughter had had an affair. This all reaffirms in my mind that Alice did rape my husband with the expectation of getting pregnant with his child. She obviously had other partners at the same time, since one of them fathered her daughter, but no one knows who. It's clear to me that Alice believed it was my husband. I did suggest Alexis upload a sample to Ancestry to see if there were any matches, as Alice traveled a lot for work and I don't know if anything will come of it. The truth is, I've washed my hands of the situation. Alice did enough damage, and I don't particularly plan to be around for any more. My husband and I have gone through a lot of counseling and will likely continue for a while. The situation has damaged us both. My husband more, obviously, but I don't think we'll ever heal fully, at least not for a very long while. And she goes on to say that, just to clear up any lasting questions, there was no diary, no texts, or anything that was going on. She's not divorcing her husband. They spent the last 7 months considering what to do. And, they've discovered that they're still madly in love. They will not be adopting Alice's child. And she said that even if it had been her husband's, they had decided that they were not going to adopt the child. She thanks Reddit for saving her marriage, girl. Don't give them that much credit. And yeah, that they just rediscovered their love. And in the process, she realized that she was pregnant. And she is a little over 3 months along. And they are so excited to meet their little baby. And as a final cap, she said, "No, we will not be naming her after my dead ex best friend."
Because that was my first thought.
That's why I said I had to give y'all her little tidbits at the end because she was like, "I know what y'all finna say. I know what y'all finna say."
I was about to say my first thought when she said she has hat was like, well, I guess it's not going to be named Alice.
Alice,
That's
Alexis,
terrible.
their baby name, nothing. It won't even start with a name.
Yeah, that's kind of how I expected it to go, or hoped it would go. I mean, at the end of the day, therapy, you're never really going to truly know because there's a side of the story that's always going to be missing. But obviously, things worked out for them how they hoped, I guess. So good for them. Good luck to that baby. It's sad that your image of your best friend had to be so thoroughly broken. Not only do you have to contend with the fact that, she's not here, but you have to contend with the fact that if she was, you might not want anything to do with her,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I don't really have anything else to say to that. That's I'm glad that they were able to go get therapy, that they've been able to work on it, that they had at least the answers in terms of paternity, and that they knew what they wanted, what they were going to do, and that they're moving forward. I mean, I think honestly in this situation, that's kind of like the best you can hope for.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's so sad for the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
She is more than likely is never gonna know who her daddy was.
Right.
She doesn't have her mom, and it sounds like the grandma is struggling to take care of her, since she was essentially told him, "Hey, I'm coming after y'all for money. No hard
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Girl,
But
I hope that
that's only
insurance money
because
gets
the
released
life,
soon, but
yeah. Once the
yeah,
life insurance, I think it'll that will definitely help. But
yeah, yeah.
um yeah, let
And I
us
don't know if
know.
she's gotten it yet because these updates were posted almost a year apart. This last
Mm,
update is very, very recent.
yeah.
And the first initial post was almost a year ago. So
Hmm.
that's a long time for you to
Yeah.
be waiting on that money to get released. So I'm praying for the baby.
Yeah.
I'm praying for the baby because the
Yeah.
baby, she ain't asked for none of this. She don't deserve
No.
none of that. And I hope that she don't, have to go into the system or anything like that.
Yeah,
Because,
for sure.
but yeah.
You let us know what you guys think in the comments about any of these stories. I would love to hear your opinions on them.
And
Um,
what? Yes.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Crystal, for another great episode,
Yeah,
girl.
thank
And
you.
thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on the YouTubes. As always, shout out to the YouTube community. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story with us or anything that you see online, you can share that in our DMs or to our email, teaandcrystal@gmail.com. That's TEAANDCRYSTAL@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Yeah, I'm gonna really need you guys to start doing those written reviews because I don't know how much more I can hold Timmy off from you guys. I'm just saying. Okay, so let's
Y'all
get
see?
at least one written review by the next episode. Okay, just this one of
I need
y'all.
it.
Just give us
I
one
need
written
it.
review. Thank
Like
you guys
SpongeBob.
so much. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.